for taqwa, bewaring of Allah, and tha is for thawab, a reward. Ja is for Jannah, the garden of paradise. Ha is for Hajj, the blessed pilgrimage. Kha is for Khatam, the seal of the prophethood given to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to this new episode of Ask Huda, coming to you live from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. In a while, inshallah, you'll find the phone numbers at the bottom of your screen. If you have any questions, feel free to call. Meanwhile, Al-Khansa sent a question regarding that the Prophet ﷺ ordered us that when a man who has accepted religious practice and moral conduct and character, that we should accept his proposal to our sisters, to our daughters, etc. Her confusion is related to how much deen, how much commitment should a person have. And she says that there is a person who is practicing, performs salat, prays and fasts, doesn't indulge in drinking or riba, and has a good character. And her family wants her to say yes, but she is not looking at him to be that religious as she would have expected in a spouse. So what should she do? This is a little bit tricky. Why? See, you don't have a particular measurement like kilograms or meters or yards to measure a person's religious commitment and character. And hence, it is wrong to judge someone by one aspect of religious commitment. So, for example, if he has a beard, then he is religiously committed, we have to accept him. Or the opposite, if he doesn't have a beard, then he is totally unacceptable. This is not the right way of choosing the right man for your daughter or for your sister. It's a whole collective issue that you have to look into different aspects and from different angles. And unfortunately, the demand is far less than the supply, meaning that we have so many girls and women who are unmarried than we have unmarried men. Therefore, a man is usually selective because there are so many around to choose from. And sometimes women fail to select the right candidate, the right suitor, and they keep on refusing because they keep on setting the bar way above and end up being unmarried forever, or their options become less and less appealing to them. So when they are in their in their teens, there are so many proposing, and they keep on shortlisting and refusing. But when they are in their mid-20s, the demand is a little bit less. So they have to compromise on so many things. If they were to have compromised, while ago, they would have been married now with children. And when they're in their mid-30s or late 30s, then they have no option to seek someone their age. He has to be at least 15 20 years older, probably married and needs a second or a third or a fourth wife, probably with children, probably with lots of illnesses in him, but she cannot be picky or choosy. And if she is in her mid 40s or late 40s, then this is a whole different ball game. Therefore, one has to be smart. You should look in the mirror and look at yourself, at your character, at the things that appeal to pious men to propose to you, and evaluate and weigh the pros and cons and see if this is a fit to the one proposing. When you set up the bar so high, you end up getting nothing. You have to compromise. But there are things that you do not compromise in at all. I got a question the other day, and they're saying that this man has a good character, from a good noble family, but the whole family is involved in providing food for dargahs, for grave worshippers, and involved because of their grandfather who used to take care of such bid'ah and such shirk, to be correct. So they're asking, can we accept this proposal? And hopefully, inshallah, the groom would be fixed later on. This is gambling. You cannot accept such a person who is indulging himself and his family in shirk. No, there is no compromise in that. And this is why you have to look at your own religious commitment, at the suitor's religious commitment, and see that if the shortcomings are acceptable, can be fixed in the future, or they are really grave and serious that there's no compromise in, and accordingly you can evaluate, inshallah. We have Zubairu from Nigeria.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum salam. Mute your television and listen to me from the phone, please.
Okay, Sheikh.
Yes, Akhi.
Yeah, please could you provide clarity on my son using my grandfather's name as a surname?
Can you give an example?
An example, my son's name is Muhammad.
Okay.
And if my father's name is Aliyu, is he going to use Aliyu or is going to use my name, Zubairu?
Okay. Okay, I will answer. Any more questions?
Not for now, Sheikh.
Okay. Zubairu has a question, and that is, we know that naming a person after someone who's not his father is a major sin in Islam. And this is why we always tell the sisters who get married and they take their husband's name, that this is totally prohibited in Islam. This is a Western culture, and it's something of their customs. Muslims are proud of being who they are. And then they accuse us Muslims of oppressing women. Subhanallah. A woman is born, married, and when she dies, keeping her own name, not any other man's name. This is her own personal freedom. So it is not permissible to call someone after another person who's not related to him, or after another tribe, or after another family. But in your case, calling your son after your father, which is his grandfather, his paternal grandfather, this seems permissible, because when I say that I'm the son of my father, is exactly when I say I'm the son of my grandfather or of my great-grandfather, because they are my lineage. They are part of my family. And this is why when the Prophet ﷺ was in the Battle of Hunain and the Muslims were ambushed in the early morning, So they retreated, leaving the Prophet ﷺ and 6 men or 7 only with him. And the Prophet at the time ﷺ was mounting on his mule, which shows his confidence in Allah. He's going to battle, but he doesn't ride a horse or a camel, he rides a mule. So when the Muslims retreated after being ambushed, the Prophet ﷺ kept on charging to the enemy alone, while Al-Abbas, his uncle, was pulling down his mule, trying to restrain it from marching forward. And the Prophet used to say, alayhi salatu wasalam, أَنَا النَّبِيُّ لَا كَذِبْ أَنَا بْنُ عَبْدِ الْمُطَّلِبِ, which translates to, I am the Prophet, there is no lie in this. I am the son of Abdul Muttalib. So he's calling the enemies, bring it on, this is me. I'm the Prophet ﷺ. I'm not afraid of you. And you're talking about 20,000 plus men of the army. Now, the Prophet, as we know, is the son of Abdullah. And Abdullah is the son of Abdul Muttalib. But in this occasion, the Prophet ﷺ is announcing to the people of Taif, to the tribe of Thaqif and Hawazin, that it is me, the son of Abdul Muttalib, the head of Quraysh tribe at the time, who passed away, yet he was well known among the Arabs. So he was attributing to himself, not to his father Abdullah, who no one knows, he died as a young man in his early 20s, but he was calling himself after Abdul Muttalib. And this means that it is permissible for you to call your son Muhammad ibn Ali, but this is not to be the case all the time, because then they will mix you to be his brother rather than his father. In occasions, yes, there is no problem, especially if Ali or Ali is a family name or is a prominent name in your village or in your town, and that you would like to be attributed to it. There is no problem, insha'Allah, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Sarah sent us a question, and she says, if I backbite a non-Muslim and they hear me, do I have to ask for their forgiveness, or is it enough to just repent? I feel as if we are okay with each other and there is no hate. First of all, what is the ruling on backbiting? The consensus of Muslims that backbiting another Muslim is a major sin. It is prohibited. It is like eating the flesh of your own brother while he's dead. So this is not our topic or issue. The issue of backbiting non-Muslims. So if you ask Muslims, probably they would say, non-Muslims, it's okay for them or for us to do whatever we want because they're not Muslims. They deserve it. And this is a big mistake. First of all, in Islam, it is prohibited to transgress. It is prohibited to oppress the non-Muslims. So it is not befitting for a Muslim to use vulgar language, to use bad words, whether to a Muslim or to a non-Muslim. So backbiting them, if it was related to their physical appearance, he's fat, he's thin, he's short, he's ugly, he's this, his complexion is like that, his hair is this or that. This is prohibited because you are making fun of Allah's creation. Who created him like this? Allah. He has nothing to do with it. So are you making fun of Allah's creation? This is haram. One says he's a kafir. They said, even though Allah created him, so you're not allowed to do this. Secondly, If it is not something related to his physical appearance, something to his actions, something to his character, it's not at all befitting for a Muslim to be indulged in such cheap talk. A Muslim has to utilize his time in what is beneficial. We could spend all day long making fun of enemies of Islam or of kafirs, but what's the benefit of it? And unfortunately, if you look at the social media or the things that people read so commonly in their daytime, you will find that it is filled with haram most of the time. So they are reading, circulating, and spreading things that do not befit Muslims. Therefore, backbiting a non-Muslim is not permissible. However, if a person fell in such a mistake, is it advisable for him to go and seek forgiveness? The answer is no. Do not go, because seeking forgiveness in such a fashion would be humiliating a Muslim. Yes, if you took his money, you have to give it back and seek forgiveness. If you transgressed physically, yes, you have to be punished for that, and he has to get even. But in backbiting, this is because of it's an issue of dispute among scholars. I believe that it is not befitting for you to go and apologize. Simply try to rectify this by giving him a gift, being kind, but do not apologize. And to be in a better situation, do not even go down that line or that road. Do not indulge in backbiting or chit-chatting, even if it was about non-Muslims, because this is not the character of a true Muslim. Khadra had sent us an email, and her email is a little bit complicated because it involves a couple of issues. So she is saying that she read a fatwa which states that it is haram for men to work as cab or taxi drivers. And the argument is that they should not escort females without their mahram, and also that they would be helping those who go to places like pubs, clubs, or might be drunk. So she wants to know the ruling, as she rely on taxis almost daily, as she doesn't drive and she does not like to use public transportation due to her health problems. So these are a number of different topics combined together. One of them is, what's the ruling on working as a taxi or a cab driver? It's an occupation, it's a job like any other job. However, what defines whether it is halal or haram, what happens during that job. So this can be cascaded at everything. One says, what's the ruling on studying accounting? There's no problem. So what's the ruling on working as an accountant? We have to look at your job description. If it involves registering and recording riba loans and interest deposited into your bank account, or repayment with riba, is haram. If it's not, then it's halal. So we go back to the Khadra's question. Is a taxi driver's job halal or haram? It depends. If the taxi driver is driving people to the airport, to the souk, to wherever they want to go, there's no problem in that, none whatsoever. Then we have to look into the things that makes it, the things that make it haram. For example, what's the ruling on a woman riding alone with a taxi driver? This is not permissible. What's the ruling on taking people to a place to commit haram? So someone gets into the cab, take me to club 53. or to the pulse, or no, I know this is a place that is haram, so no, I cannot take you. I apologize. Someone tells me, take me to the nearest pub or to the nearest nightclub. Haram. This is not permissible. But if he gets into the car and says, take me to street 54, house number so-and-so, and I take him, not knowing where that place is, and when we reach there, it is a pub or a nightclub or a church, there's nothing wrong. I did not know. My rizq is halal. This is part one. Part two, for Sister Khadra, riding in a car alone with a man, this is not permissible. Because being alone with a stranger in seclusion, your third person with you is shaitan. And it doesn't mean that it has to happen now or next week or next month or next year. Satan will wait, anticipate, and choose the right moment to attack. So as a Muslim, we refrain from doing what Allah Azza wa Jal had made prohibited. Najid from Ethiopia?
Yes. Sheikh, assalamu alaikum.
Salamullah. From Ethiopia?
Yes.
Yes, Najid.
I have two questions. The
Yes,
first
Akhi.
one is, what's the ruling using
Using, we've lost Brother Najid. I hope he calls again. I think he was asking about khat. Okay, so assuming that Brother Najid was asking about khat, khat is a plant. It's something that people grow in Yemen, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Somalia, and in some parts of the southern area of Saudi Arabia, and they chew it when it's green, and it gives them some sort of a feeling that is not natural. And the scholars say that this consumption of khat is prohibited. Growing it, selling it, buying it, and consuming it is not permissible in Islam, and this has to have an end. Any culture, any community that this plant is introduced to, it is devastated. It is destroyed financially, socially, on all types, and they just sit there for hours without end, eating this khat as if they are cattle, eating grass, and drinking coffee, drinking tea, and just sitting there, doing nothing. And there are fatwas regarding this, so I hope this answers your question. Naya from US.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Salam wa barakatuh.
How are you, Sheikh?
I'm fine, Jazakallah khair for asking.
Okay, may Allah bless you.
Ameen. What can I do for you?
I have two questions.
Okay.
My first question is that I know backbiting is not allowed, but what about like me and my kids sometimes when we speak, we are talking about my husband. Is it considered as backbiting?
What would you say? What would you discuss about him?
Like sometimes like he doesn't eat like the same food as we do. We just sometimes like not criticize, but just making comments.
Okay. Any second question?
And my second question is that when my son is leading us in prayers and my daughter and I, we are following him, what are we supposed to do when he doesn't have his wudoo and is leading his prayer? Are we supposed to wait for him, or we just pray on our own, or how that?
Your question is related to your son praying in the house with you?
Right.
And you are taking him as an imam?
Right.
So what is the question? You follow him?
Right, but when sometimes like he breaks his wudoo, so he's leaving the prayer to go make his wudoo. So what do we do at the meantime?
Okay, I will answer you inshallah. Any more questions?
Jazakallahu khair, Sheikh.
Okay. Naya from the US says, what is the ruling of backbiting of her first? And I ask her specifically the reason. And one would ask, why do you ask about the reason? See, what is the definition of backbiting? Backbiting is saying a statement about a person who's not present with us. If he were to learn about it, it would anger him or sadden him, or he would resent this. So this is the definition of backbiting, something that is true and real. But there are cases that are considered to be permissible backbiting. And the Sharia has brought us evidence to back this up. For example, someone comes to me and says, Sheikh, a friend by the name of so-and-so proposed to my daughter. What do you think? I know that this suitor is an alcoholic, or he doesn't pray in the masjid. The guardian of the girl doesn't know that. So for him to come and consult me, I have two options. The safest option is to say, I advise you that you do not give him your daughter in marriage. He's not good. Without naming or saying the things that I know about him. The second option, which is legit, but it is less in preferability, is to say no, that the guy drinks and he doesn't pray. And this is sufficient. So this is permissible, though it's backbiting, but this is needed. Like when someone breaks into my house and I know the burglar, would I say, I cannot go and complain or file a case against him because this is backbiting. He doesn't like this. No, this is my God-given right. I have to go and complain and say by name that this person broke into my house. Likewise, if I see someone going or learning from people of innovation, people of bid'ah, people of the wrong schools. So many people are learning from famous so-called scholars or students of knowledge, taking them as idols, and whatever they say is a true and fact. But I know that this is wrong. Not it's a single mistake or two, but there is deviancy in that teacher's methodology of teaching, or he's following a corrupt aqidah, and people don't know about this. So this would not be backbiting, but I have to be really wise in knowing how to address this issue, how to evaluate, am I just slandering and trying to bring him down and tarnish his reputation because I'm envious? Or am I sincerely warning the ummah that they would not be deceived by this totally deviant person who has no good things in him, none whatsoever, and so on. So this kind of backbiting is permissible. Now, if you just chit-chat with your mom or with your sisters about your ex-husband, that he was stingy, that he had a bad smell all the time, he never washed, that he did this, he did that, this is totally prohibited. It's gone, it's history. Why are you doing this? There is no reason for bringing these things up. He will harvest your good deeds as long as you keep on doing this. But if there is a legitimate reason, if someone proposed, he proposed to, comes to you and say, what do you think of your ex-husband? And you tell them that he had these shortcomings, just for them to be alert and to be careful whether to say yes or no, and you don't lie. In this case, this is a different issue, and Allah knows best. We will take the second question after the break. Stay tuned, and inshallah, we'll be right back.
Allah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Naya from the US had a second question, and she says that sometimes my son leads us in prayer, and while we are in praying, he nullifies his wudoo by passing wind or something of that nature. So he goes to renew his wudoo. What to do? This question fits in the scenario of different situations. One, while we are in the masjid, the Imam all of a sudden breaks his wudoo and he leaves. What to do? Two, while we are praying with the Imam, instead of standing up for the fourth rak'ah, he sits in the third rak'ah. And when he sits in the third rak'ah and we say Subhanallah, he refuses to stand up, insisting that this is his fourth. Or the opposite. After he concludes his fourth rak'ah, he stands up for the fifth. The fifth rak'ah? Yes, and we say Subhanallah, he doesn't go back. He continues. So in all of these situations and many, many more, you can always have the same answer, and that is, when there is a problem with the Imam, and the Imam has to go, either he would take someone to take his position and place. So for example, if I'm leading the prayer and I remember that I'm not in the state of wudhu, I cannot continue and say, well, nobody knows, Allah knows. This can be an act of kufr. What to do? I have to pull someone from behind me who is suitable to lead the prayer, and he would know and understand, and I go and make wudu and come back to join the congregation as a follower. If the Imam does not take someone in to succeed him, one of the ma'mums, one of the followers should come forward and continue the salah, because the salah of the followers is correct. Why should we nullify it because of the event that took place with the Imam? Now in your case, Naya, and your daughter, when your son's wudu is nullified, you either choose to lead the prayer and your daughter would follow you, or both of you continue from where you have stopped and finish your prayer individually. But you do not wait for him to come back after he renews his wudu, because his prayer is over, your prayer has been established, and you have to complete it, and Allah knows best. Zainab from Nigeria.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Listen to me from the phone, please.
Yes, I'm listening to you, sir.
Yes, what can I do for you?
My question is, I always forget how many rak'ahs that I do in my prayer, but sometimes before I finish the prayer, I used to remember. So when I know that I had doubted my prayer, I used to make two sujood before I said salam. Is that okay?
Okay.
And my second question is, I used to make up my Ramadan fast like some few years ago with two intentions. I used to make a nawafil and my first Ramadan fast to make up all together. So recently I learned from Huda that is not acceptable in Islam. So I want to know, should I make up the Ramadan fast that I used to do with two intentions before again?
Who told you that this is not acceptable?
You know, I heard from one of the people that I know and said that it's not acceptable.
Okay.
They cannot mix up nawafil and fard.
Okay, I will answer you inshallah. Any more questions?
Thank you very much. No, jazakumullah khairan. Thank you.
Wa jazaki. Zainab from Nigeria asks a very frequently asked question. So many of the Muslims have the problem in dealing with which rak'ah they are in. Sometimes this is every now and then. It's not an illness per se. So the Prophet had told us ﷺ, that when you're in doubt, how many rak'ahs have you prayed? So either I have prayed 3 or I have prayed 4 and I'm doubtful. The Prophet says, cast the doubt, because 3 I am definitely sure, The fourth is the one that I'm doubtful in. So the Prophet says, cast away, alayhi salam, cast away the doubt and continue as if you had only prayed three, meaning pray the fourth and offer salam, offer sujood al-sahu, 2 prostrations before offering the salam and concluding your prayer. If you have a slight doubt or inclination that, no, I think most likely I prayed 3, or I think most likely I prayed 4, continue on that hint and the gut feeling that you have and offer the 2 prostrations of forgetfulness after the salam. See the difference? In the first situation, I'm totally in the dark. I don't know whether 3 or 4. I offer the prostration before salam. In the second situation, I am inclined to one of the 2 opinions. Either I prayed 3 or I prayed 4. Either I offered tashahhud or I have not offered tashahhud. I'm inclined to one of these opinions. I'm not in the dark. In this case, I offer 2 prostrations of forgetfulness after the salam. Now, Sister Zainab says that she forgets, but she remembers before salam. In this case, it depends on what she remembered. For example, she actually prayed 3 rak'ahs and she was doubtful whether she prayed 3 or 4. So she assumed that she prayed 4 and sat for tashahhud. And when she remembered, oh no, I only prayed 3. What is she supposed to do? She's supposed to stand up and pray the 4th rak'ah, because her prayer cannot be complete without fulfilling the pillars. And now before salam, she is remembering that she only offered 3 rak'ahs. There is 1 rak'ah missing. So she has to stand up, offer this rak'ah, sit for tashahhud, offer salam, offer 2 prostrations of forgetfulness after the salam, and offer another salam. If she remembered that she did the right thing, in this case, she offers the prostration of forgetfulness before the salam, and so on. And I hope that this is not happening to her every salat, because if it is, this case shifts into being obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, which means that you have to be really careful. A lot of the Muslims nowadays are falling into the traps of shaitan. Who is advising you that you're making a mistake? Is it an angel trying to correct you? In this frequency, this is shaitan. He is trying to destroy your salat so that you're more concerned of the number of rak'ahs rather than the actual salah. You're more concerned whether I'm in the state of wudoo or I broke my wudoo. You're more concerned whether the knob of the door of the toilet is pure or should I wash my hands. I didn't wash my hands. Maybe somebody touched it with an impure hand or najasa. Am I praying on the carpet or the rug? Is it pure or not? It goes on and on. Are the clothes in my washing machine after being washed and dried, are they pure? Because someone dropped his underwear and it was impure. So now it's mixed with the pure. And so, subhanallah. This is how shaitan infiltrates your iman, weakens it, and then destroys your life. It doesn't stop here. It keeps on shedding doubt to people. I'm married and I don't know if I was angry with my wife one night and I don't know if I divorced her or not. I was thinking that maybe we should divorce, but I don't know if I uttered it. I may have uttered it. Then this means I'm living in haram, and it cascades to all aspects of life. And this is a very serious problem that you should be careful not to fall into. Her second question, Zainab from Nigeria, was regarding combining the intention in fasting. So she combines making up for missed days in Ramadan with voluntary days. And she says that someone told her that this is not permissible? The answer is, the one who told you this is wrong. It is permissible for you in all types of voluntary fasting to make up the missed days of Ramadan, with the exception of the 6 days of Shawwal. Why is that? Because the Prophet ﷺ told us that in order to reach the reward of fasting the whole year, you have to fast the whole of Ramadan and follow that with 6 days of Shawwal. A woman who fasts 25 days of Ramadan and missed the rest because of her menses, if she wants to make up the missed days in the 6 days of Shawwal, this is not counted, because she has to fulfill the full month of Ramadan, then follow that with 6 days of Shawwal. But if you make up your missed days on Mondays, Thursdays, the white days, Ashura, Arafah, all of this is valid and you will get both rewards, insha'Allah. Muhammad from Saudi.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
How are you, Sheikh?
I'm fine, Jazakallah khair.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Just I have seen your other question regarding the prayers when you miss them, without for the 3 or 4. That was clear, alhamdulillah. And I had a doubt, like regarding the tawaf, when you're doing the same situations, sometimes comes 7 or less. So what we had to do on that situation?
Okay.
Because salah, we do the sajada. So tawaf, if you do 8, do we have to do anything? Or inshallah.
Okay.
Shukran, jazakallah khair.
No, okay. Wa jazak, akhi Muhammad. Brother Muhammad has a very valid question. And he says that what happens if we make a mistake in the number of rounds round the Kaaba during tawaf? We know that we have to make 7, I'm missing a finger. We have to make 7 rounds the Kaaba. So what happens if someone makes a mistake? The same rule applies. If you're doubtful whether you have done 2 or 3, the doubt is in the 3rd. So cast it away and continue to bring 5 more. What happens if I am doubtful whether I did 6 or 7? Then cast away the 7th, continue and bring the last round, number 7. What happens if I remembered after I finished the 7th, that is actually the 8th or the 9th or the 10th, because of my continuous doubts? There's no problem. What do you mean, Sheikh? 7 are counted. The 1 or 2 or 3 extra are not counted. And there is nothing for you to do, because you have done your level best. At the time, you made a choice. You thought that it might be 6, it might be 7, so you casted the doubt according to the principles of Sharia, that certainty is not removed by doubt. You finished the 7th, and afterwards you've discovered that this wasn't the 7th. Actually, it was the 8th. So no problem. Your 7 rounds have been completed. Your tawaf is okay. The 8th is an extra that has no value, none whatsoever. There is no prostration of forgetfulness for tawaf. The prostration of forgetfulness is only for the prayer. Likewise in Hajj, if someone throws the stones saying Allahu Akbar, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, and he's doubtful, 7 or 6, and he throws 1 more, then he discovers 8. Throw 9 or 10. This doesn't affect it. It's not part of the worship. 7 is what counts. The rest is void, has no value, and there is no way to rectify it because you didn't do it as an innovation. Then this is a problem. If someone finishes 7 and he knows that he has finished 7, he says, what the heck, let me do an extra 2. No, this is not permissible. This is an innovation. Like when performing wudoo, you wash your arms 3 times, this is the max. We know that washing it once is sufficient. It's part of the sunnah. But someone washes it 3 times and then says, let me do another one just to be safe. No, this is an innovation and this is not permissible. So in wudoo, if someone is doubtful whether he did 2 or 3, do we say cast the doubt and continue the 3? I say no reason for that, because once is sufficient. 1 time is sufficient. It does the job. So why go into that extreme? And Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Saddam sent us a question. Saddam says, is it permissible for men to wear maroon? Now we know that it's an issue of dispute among scholars regarding wearing red. And the most authentic opinion, it is not permissible for men only. Women are allowed. Men are not allowed to wear pure red. So anything that is pure red is prohibited. If it is red with white straps or other colors mixed with it, it is permissible. This is the most authentic opinion. So if someone wears, for example, a Ferrari shirt, which is totally red, no lines, nothing, complete red, this is prohibited. Now, maroon, one would say that, is it permissible or not? The logical question would be, is it classified as being red, or it is a color between red and brown? So it's a separate color. It's a different color than red. And therefore, to me, it seems that it is permissible and there's nothing wrong with that. Our last question for tonight is from Nilofer. I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. It says, if a man dies and had no wife and children and died leaving one brother and two sisters, what is the proportion of shares to be divided among them? Usually, when distributing the inheritance, the first thing we say, the deceased, did he have parents or one of them? In this case, no. Did he have a wife? No. Did he have offspring? No. In this case, his siblings would inherit, and his siblings from his father and mother's side. Because if he had siblings from the father and mother's side and siblings from the father's sides only, they will block the siblings from the father's side only. So in this case, a brother and two sisters would inherit everything that the deceased had taken. And we would divide it into 4 shares. Each girl takes 1 share, meaning a quarter and a quarter, and the boy, or the brother, the male, gets half of the inheritance, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. This is all the time we have. Until we meet next time, I leave you fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Is for Allah, nothing but Allah. Ba is the beginning of Bismillah. Ta is for taqwa, bewaring of Allah. And Tha is for thawab, a reward. Ja is for Jannah, the garden of paradise. Ha is for Hajj, the blessed pilgrimage. Kha is for Khatam, the seal of the prophethood given to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu